All right, what's up, guys? So I guess this is gonna be like our first little pre-game thing. So I guess I just put an emphasis on kind of like the way that I see ourselves playing and how I kind of envision ourselves playing with our style of football and just the type of players that we have. And it would just be just very high energy football, a lot of moving, a lot of sprinting, a lot of running. I feel like we can handle it and we'll get better over time. And with high energy, I mean most of it just getting the ball back right away, making those extra sprints, trying to just maintain a lot of intensity throughout most of the match, and also to have a possession superiority. I think a lot of the times we have suffered when we don't have possession because the other teams make us run quite a lot and we do get tired. But by having just possession superiority, we'll be able to have most of the ball. We will get tired less, and we also play really well with the ball. So I think that should work out. And also to be very organized defensively. For what we've been using lately and mostly in Grasshopper was being very organized defensively through zone usage. Everybody kind of had their own zone and everybody kind of knew what to do in those spaces. So I just want to bring it back with a bigger pitch now, but sort of be able to maintain your zone safe per se, but also just be able to use the whole pitch and be able to use each other in order to cover areas more efficiently and for us to just be a better unit, because we tend to win these games through defense more than offense, in my opinion. So I guess we can go over a little bit of like what each position should be doing on the pitch. So I guess we'll start with the goalkeeper. And Hector, you're going to be our only goalkeeper. I hope. Don't get sick. But probably the main things you need to focus on is just rapid distribution. As soon as you get the ball, put it on the ground and get it going. Because whenever we take time, a lot of the times the team comes and pressures us, and then our options to where to go get very limited. So yeah, rapid distribution. Also security. Try to catch those balls a little bit more often. If you mess up here, it doesn't really matter. This is kind of like preseason for us. So kind of just try to have a little bit more confidence and also to go out for some corners. We have conceded some corners. And I think like one or two, maybe you could have gone out for them. So just keep these things in mind. And communication, as you're all the way in the back, you can see the whole pitch. So you've been doing that quite well. And also provide options for ball fluidity. And that's more open play. We'll just keep feeding you the ball at times when we get stuck. So just be ready for them. But that last one is just for a little bit more open play. And then as for the left back and right back, it'll mostly be Caesar, David, and then the variation of whoever's coming in and out. But prioritize your defensive duties. I know that a lot of times we talk about moving forward, but really prioritize just being defensively solid. And then when you are going to be offensive, use the width, go up and down. I guess you guys are pretty familiar with these runs, so I can't really say much about them. And then just make sure the link-up play between the center mids and me, or the center back and the goalkeeper, as we're just going to try to maintain possession as much as we can. Not to an extent that we're not doing anything with the ball, but just to secure it and kind of just control the pace of the game, control the flow. And we'll talk about later when we'll talk about the certain place and certain positions where we need to be. And then for the center back as well, just rapid distribution. The center back usually is going to be the last man, and he'll just kind of provide coverage where needed. Sometimes when the right back or the left back moves forward, kind of to occupy that space, and also to provide options for ball fluidity. But what I mean by this is kind of just to always be there open when you guys just get pressured up there and you guys need somewhere the ball goes. Always kind of be available there as a center back to receive the ball. Maybe even go back with the keeper every once in a while. But most of the game is going to be distribution and coverage. So for the center back, most of the game you'll be without the ball, depending on how much possession we have. But it's mostly about coverage and being at the right place at the right times. And then in my opinion, probably the most important position in this formation or in this sort of style of play will be the center mids, because you guys will have probably like two jobs to do. And one of the main ones that we're looking for is to be defensively organized, to come back for those balls, especially when we're kind of set back and they're all over us, to protect us from those long shots that they're most likely going to take because they're moving the ball around. And to do this is you got to be more more zonal, kind of protect that zone that I kind of circled there, and be able to be around there at those times, because they'll do those passes in between there and then maybe get a long shot. But if we're there, we kind of force them to do some long balls, force them to go wide. And I think there the defensive line will get them. And also, when we're playing offensively, there's more freedom in your movement. I feel like offensively, it'll just be more up to interpretation of where you guys think, if you're playing center mid, the best place to be. And like I said before, just very important to have zonal coverage when we're defending. And also the link-up play as well. And that just comes with everybody mostly. Just be ready to kind of move the ball faster. You guys kind of determine the pace of the match and just see where to go. And I guess it's up to interpretation, the best place where the ball should go. And then finally, we have the striker. And most of the striker's job is kind of to hold ball in transition. Also, the 1v1 engagement. I feel most of the time we have like a classic number 9 or maybe not classic, maybe more like the new gens, where we're kind of expecting them to do something with the ball. I feel it's a little bit more classic. But we have them the ball. Sometimes they do 1v1 and they go for that play and it falls off. But you could also, do a lot of link-up play. Defensively, your duties are not as strong as the center mids. But yeah, just try to play zonal coverage, almost kind of try to see where the center mids are missing and maybe cover them at that spot. But most of your job will be, I guess, to create some magic if you're in a 1v1 situation, or just to hold the ball as we move forward from a defensive position to an attacking position. All right, so I'll now get into more of like a formation and the expectations when we're doing certain things or we're certain places in the pitch. So defending on our side, it'll mostly be those both center mids kind of providing that zonal coverage, and just to try to be, I know it's really hard. I'm not saying you have to be perfect, but try to be strict on your position because historically we've suffered quite a lot from those long shots and kind of not having anyone there. And I think last week we did pretty well holding this formation, but we can do an even better job, I believe. And also, bottom line, just be strict on your position and kind of make sure to cover the wide areas of the pitch and kind of just help out the center mids if needed. Like I said, a lot of it is going to be up to interpretation, but if we try to be strict on our positions, I think we'll be able to defend very solidly. I think one of our better advantages is the way that we defend as a team. So I think we could definitely develop this to be even more of an advantage. And then the next formation will be just the goal kick formation. This is also another one that we saw previously. And this one we're just going to use to maximize options. I think before we would only play 2 in the back. So the only options would be the left back, the right back, or inshallah to the front. And then hopefully somebody gets it. And we're going to try to step away from that and just have more fluidity with the ball and be able to retain possession. So the center back and the striker kind of go to the middle right there. And we're more of a distraction. We want to probably drag a couple guys with us, or at least 2, one for each, to kind of just be near us. But our true objective is for Hector to sort of make that pass either to the right back or the left back. And you make it immediately. Make it as soon as you get it, just to not give them any time to be able to move forward and kind of position themselves where they have the ability to make a mistake. And yeah, like I said, the goalkeeper make first pass ASAP. And as for the lines there, you can see I'll put Hector having the ability to pass it to all of us, but mostly it's going to be between Cesar and David, or the left back and the right back, getting it first, and then try to pass it out wide to either center mid. And if not, you can always hit me or Beto in the middle. We can do that little triangle pass. But I think with this formation, just to kind of from kickoff, will give us the most options and the most ability to keep the ball moving forward without losing it. Now we move forward to the team structure for opposition, their goal kick. This is something that we've managed to do and execute very well in Grasshopper, where at times we're able to go on their side of the pitch and sort of put a lot of pressure for us to recover the ball quickly. And we're going to try to do this we're going to do man coverage. Kind of everybody gets their own guy. I feel like this is probably the most efficient way to do it. And it tends to sort of work in the beginning because they have no one to pass it. And we're kind of just doing this for rapid ball recovery. We want to have possession most of the match, and we just want to do the least amount of running in regards to running without the ball. And we just also want to avoid them having an easy transition from from a defensive position to an offensive position, because a lot of the times when we set back and we just kind of sit in our own half, they have such an easy time to carrying the ball from their side to our side, and I think we should give them a harder time, because the teams that we've done that against, they've struggled with, and it's also very tiring as for the opposition. So here is just going to be another example of pressing when they leave the middle open from kickoff, right? Because a lot of the times they tend to play 2-3-1, but sometimes they move forward because they're going to do a long kick. So I think in these certain areas, the striker just needs to shift to a side. If there's going to be an overlap of players on the right side or the left side, the center mid just needs to cover that player who's running deeper, and the striker just moves into where the center mid would be. In this example, we have Alberto moving to cover here, and then Beto just taking the guy that he was taking if you go back to the last example. And yeah, so striker shifts to a side, and then see the center mid covers middle towards congestion, just to have an extra guy there and kind of just be available in the middle to get that ball, because sometimes they leave it open and the ball just kind of drops there, but we also have nobody there. So we kind of just want to have one extra guy there kind of helping us out to recover those balls. And the shifting in the back line is pivotal as well. We need to be able to shift in regards to where the ball is going, and just be able to kind of see each other and know our positions. So just keep that in mind if you're playing in the back. So it's going to be the same thing about the left side. And then we can see the new shift here where Beto kind of takes a striker, the defender on the left, and then Ruben shifts down towards the congestion of the field. And just prioritize shifting in your awareness. A lot of the times, we can't really communicate during these times, right? It's more about what you see and when you see it, because you can't be screaming the whole time, but you can be aware the whole time. You just move your eyes and you see where people are positioning. So just kind of focus on that instead of relying on communication, which I'm not saying not to do, right? But a lot of the times, just try to keep yourself aware of what's going on the pitch. And just with these levels of congestion here, because I feel that if we really sort of master this area in the middle of like when to get the ball, when to pressure, we will be able to not even let the team go out of their half. And I think we can get to that level. So we'll see how it goes. But this is just the same thing, but on the left side, just to kind of give another example. Yeah, and then here I just want to kind of to discuss a little bit about shifting as a team. I think at times we can be very man marking, especially when we're pressuring. But I think it will be best if we kind of shift together as a team, going towards the ball, but of course, not like Little League. Also, I figured out how to put a soccer ball right there. But let's say like here, for example, is on the left side. So, of course, we were all kind of tilting towards the left side, because even if they hit like a crazy ball to the right side, you'll still have enough time to recover. But what I'm talking about here is shifting where we position ourselves to have the most probability of getting the ball. If there's like a bounce, a bad pass, a bad dribble. So we just kind of have most zone covered where the ball will most likely fall, if that makes sense. And then it's kind of going to be the same thing. I just put the ball on the other side. But most of the game is played without the ball on your feet, right? So we can master where to be at most times, just to kind of being smart of what ground to cover and kind of seeing where we are, where everyone is. I think we'll be able to really be playing with the ball most of the game and kind of just make it very frustrating to play against us. And yeah, like I said here, gain ground through coverage, which would be very frustrating for the other teams and won't be able to get the ball out. So I know we won't master all this, but I guess this is just things that's been on my head and I just want to talk about a little bit. And then last thing I just wanted to kind of touch on is the right back or left back attacking positions. I think a lot of the times we do go up with the right back and left back, and they can cause a lot of damage to the other team. But I'm being just defensive minded right now, just myself. I'm not talking about you guys to be, but just to be defensively aware of the importance of positional awareness, especially for the center mids. Like if you see that either left back or right back is moving forward, kind of try to move into that position where if a mistake were to happen or they lose the ball, they're still somehow covered. And even if they're not covered, for like example here, in the last one, Ruben covered him, right? Ruben covered David's advance. But in this example, Ruben went in the box. So the center mid went inside the box, and he's looking to kind of do a play there or score. And as for the back line, just needs to be a little bit more aware, and kind of everybody, right? Awareness of everyone's position, of where everyone is at, and to shift towards coverage when we're kind of unstructured, when we're out of formation, and kind of just be smart about it. Like here, we're left with almost like a 4-B-2. But if there were to be a ball jumping in the middle there, we might be able to catch it. But we also don't leave the back line uncovered. And like I mentioned before, I put action over speech, because sometimes you're able to see these plays and you don't necessarily have enough time to kind of speak on them or yell out. So sometimes just go, if you don't have enough time, go towards making the play instead. Go cover the ground, and then you can yell out and stuff. But prioritize the action before the speech, or maybe at the same time. I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's see how we do today, boys. This is the first one. It was a little bit long, so sorry about that. But let's see how we do, and then I guess we'll share our ideas later. Maybe I could do something else for next week.